So if you guys didn't know, there was a kind of live stream slash Xbox event where Kevin Drew, one of the Treyarch developers, actually came out and spoke a bunch about Call of Duty Black Ops 6, specifically in regards to zombies. And I thought that we'd have a look at that, see what he had to say. And of course, this is going to give us some of the most information that we've had on modes other than campaign and multiplayer so far. So that's what this video is all about. And I'm just going to kind of watch it, break it down, and you guys can tell me what you think about it. So
welcome y'all. It is great to see y'all. We're going to be doing some wonderful panels. This is going to be our meet the creator section. We'll be talking to some of the folks from Black Ops 6. All right, I'm just going to get into it because you don't want to hear me talk. I got this. So coming to the stage right now from Treyarch, the associate design director on Zombies, Kevin Drew. Come on.
I believe Kevin Drew was the person at the Call of Duty Direct who was sitting there and had the thing of gobble gums beside him. So he's like one of the head guys, if not the head guy, for Call of Duty Zombies. Whoa, hold up. Before we dive into that, I wanted to tell you about today's video sponsor. You may have noticed recently some things has changed in the office, and you may not know what it is, but that would be this bad boy here, which is my new chair. I was sent this C2 chair by FlexiSpot, and let me tell you, it has changed my life. First of all, if you're sitting at a chair lot at a desk playing some video games, you probably get pretty uncomfortable, but no longer with this. Some things you want to know about it. First off, we have the S-curve backrest. It's basically an ergonomically designed chair with great lumbar support. The flip-up armrest, so whether you want to rest your arms or let them hang, you got your options there. My personal favorite thing is the high stretch breathable mesh. That's the backing on this chair. In my previous chair, my office gets insanely hot with the lights on here, with all the screens on. It gets insanely hot, and this actually helps so much more with that than I even realized, but that's personally my favorite thing. Also, you got the foam cushion seating with a great balance of softness and durability. It's extremely comfortable. Now, this chair is compact and sleek and provides robust support for people from 5'3" all the way up to 6'5". But if you're wondering whether or not you like it, there is a 30-day free return policy as well as a 5-year warranty. So if you want to check them out, click the link down below, and when you do, use code C230 and you're going to save yourself $30 at checkout, which is a great deal. I'm way more comfortable now, and you should be too, so check them out, and thank you for sponsoring the video.
Ooh, y'all feel good after them doggone trailers?
Oh, he's the hype man.
I love it.
He's the Xbox hype man.
Please have a seat, have a seat, have a seat. First and foremost, man, I want to thank y'all for being here. It's nothing like that day where you get to show everybody where you're working on the thing.
I've said this before. It has to be one of the best feelings in the world to be a developer who's been working on something for years behind the scenes and finally gets to reveal it.
To the questions, because I got a lot of them and not a lot of time to do it. Now, both of these games, both in Gears of War,
yeah, so that's Gears of War,
Black Ops 6, we
over there,
are dealing with
Call of Duty
time
right underneath me,
and new chapters in games that have been around for a while. There's a lot of history, a lot of legacy, a lot of love, and community participation, all the great stuff.
Another question I have is, I wonder how long it's going to be before we get a new IP in Call of Duty, like not an a Black Ops, not a Modern Warfare, like something new.
How do you balance bringing in a lot of that old, a lot of that history, a lot of the stuff that people love with the new chapters in the thing? All things considered, they just did the direct. I'm gonna kick.
Oh yeah, right. Go for it. You gonna start with me?
Yeah, this one's for you, my friend. How do you balance the old and the new? Come on, going from Black Ops 2 to 6. Tell me what was going through the head.
I think there's different answers for each part of the game, right? We have campaign, we have multiplayer, and we have zombies. And I can speak for zombies when I say it's a mode that actually started as a
super rare for in a Call of Duty conference for them to actually lead with zombies. Zombies is normally like this thing that is saved till right before launch. And like even like looking back into Call of Duty World at War, there was this, like, it was almost like a secret. You finish the campaign, oh look at this, you're in zombies. Same with Black Ops 2. Black Ops 1. We just played through Black Ops 1. You finish the campaign, it throws you right into zombies, almost like this like
an
secret
Easter egg back in World of War.
An Easter egg, yeah.
Right? And it has grown over the years. And initially it was kind of like the Wild West. So like every time we would make a new zombies game, we would just try new things that we thought was cool, right? But over the years, by Black Ops 3, certain things we realized are very important, and we kind of established the DNA.
Once there was like a community for it.
A lot of different like perks and pack-a-punch and really cool maps and hidden quests and all sorts of things. And we realized those certain things are very kind of sacred, and we need to like keep those and iterate on them and make them better, but then always pushing ourselves to do new things, because that's like at the heart of this mode. It's almost like counterculture to COD.
That's wild that he says this. And I actually saw a clip from Milo, Mr. Raffle Waffles, speaking directly about the counterculture comment. And I guess that's something that he's always said, but it's true. Like, you had Call of Duty, and then you have campaign, which very much follows like this linear path of like the story being told, which sets up that game. And then multiplayer kind of goes off of that, and like all of the maps are designed after the campaign, and it all kind of ties into one. And then you have Zombies, which is kind of like not it. And like, if you look at Modern Warfare games in the past, you had Spec Ops that even branched off of the campaign and things like that. It was almost an extension of it. Zombies is not, and it never really has been.
Where it's like we get to put things in that you would never see in or think that would be in Call of Duty.
Stuff you're just not expecting.
Yeah, which is awesome, which is what it should be.
A lot of that brotherhood theme, and actually you can kind of look at some of that coming through in COD as well. Speaking thereof, like, we got a really good look at how you guys are actively developing the game. How is what your tech that you're using impacted a lot of that, especially in like player movement and the
They're gonna get in the Omni movement and Zombies here.
Please do the thing.
I think
just picture Zombies always being able to run backwards and shoot.
You all saw it today. It's like revolutionary in how you play the game. It just fundamentally changes how you move, and it kind of removes this artificial construct of like, you know, in real life you can sprint backwards, you can sprint to the side, like because professional athletes do this,
especially
all the
in
time.
Zombies or multiplayer. If you have a map
kind of
memorized,
that or realized we could do that, and we
don't have to not look at enemies ever.
It's changed.
You don't have to look at where you're going.
Like, how you play multiplayer is different. How you play Zombies is going to be different. Like the ability to, you know, sprint backwards while you've got a horde of zombies coming at you is very different than MP, where you're
good point. That's exactly what we're just saying.
Things like supine and all those things. So
look, for us less skilled people, being able to run away from
I think you still got to watch behind you.
We're thinking about that. I appreciate it. Both of these games have very committed audience. I know that's the understatement.
Gears and Call of Duty, what he's referring to there.
How do you take those audiences into consideration? For a lot of folks, like, they've been looking for these installments for a minute. I know people have been checking for Gears for a minute, and people have been looking for the new COD for a minute. How do you deal with a lot of that fan expectancy? That
I think you have to know that you're going to let people down no matter what. I think that's the honest answer.
Especially when coming into a new chapter.
It's about trying to deliver something new and also what drew people to the franchise at the same time. I think it's very similar for a lot of the stuff I saw in the BO6 Direct,
When you were saying earlier about the pandemic, right? There was challenges with that. The last game we made, we had to make concessions, and there were certain things that we wanted to bring to Zombies that we couldn't, and now this has been the opportunity here to fully realize it.
I like some of these things that they say, like, I don't know if they're like allowed or get the okay to, but like they're speaking about Cold War there. And let's just take Cold War, for example. Before Cold War came out, whenever there would be a launch of a game, we'd generally get to go down and play that game early, about a week before the game actually launched. And you play it for like 2 days. You'd have like a day of campaign, a day of multiplayer. And then in that multiplayer day, you'd play like Zombies or whatever that third mode would be. For Cold War, they just sent us the game a week early. Like they couldn't have one of those events. And like just things like that are different ways of running things did happen during that time. And like I remember a big thing back then was like recording audio tracks from home. Like the voice actors literally like setting up a studio with a bunch of blankets in the room, recording the audio. And this is what they're saying. For this game, they didn't have to do that. Like this is like
they
could put everything into it.
Version of it. And one of the big things is bringing back a set crew. Like this idea that who you play as,
that's really important.
The story matters a lot, and you're growing with them as you progress through the cinematics and just the moment-to-moment gameplay. Which you have these emergent moments, and when you have
what they're saying is progress through the maps.
Personality and
there's going to be multiple maps. It's huge, DLC maps, right?
For both of them.
Yeah, that's an interesting connection between like Zombies and Gears, is that you're inhabiting characters and also playing with your friends and going on these like shared journeys and stories that sort of involve you and the people in the game. Is pretty cool.
It's like when you see how they react like you might bond closer to this character more than that character based on their
That's
reactions,
important.
which is really cool.
I'm not gonna lie, when Marcus looked like he was gonna fall over, I'm like, no, I'm a boy. And then it came down to brotherhood. Yeah, that's
You didn't
my
really
jam.
think he was going to fall in
This
that
guy's
hole. did you?
awesome.
I'm not. I was on pins and needles, okay? Just let me have this, all right? Let me have this. All right. Look, one of the things that I love, especially as a developer, is being able to watch out for some of those personal touches in the game. And I think for me, that's a very humanizing element. It's always nice to remember that the people making these things are often fans. A lot of them are like, yeah, I'm excited for this game too. I'm curious if
I would say it's about 50-50. I would say about half the people working on a Call of Duty game are there for a job, and half of them are there because they literally love it. And I think a lot of the people who rise to the top in those studios are often the people who are there because they love it and actually want to create
there are
something
any
good.
like personal touches that y'all got for me personally. What are some of the things that your folks did, their signatures that they put on the game? If you can share. I know.
I'm pretty sure the Gears part is edited out of this, by the way.
And we also got like a look at some of them in the deep dive. I want to know specifically in Zombies, are there some personal touches that y'all put in that you're like, this is for the fans?
Yeah, so I mean, I've worked on every Black Ops game, so I have a lot of very specific examples over the year. Like, if you're working on the game, you're putting a part of you in it. Right. And so,
I think I've seen this clip too.
Early days when you're working, like when I was working on campaign levels, I ended up like on Black Ops 2. I named a red shirt in one of the levels I was working on, Crosby, because of a previous game on Black Ops 1. He was like this one-line character, but he was just hilarious to all of us. So I started to name him there, and then I moved to another campaign level and another one. And
check this out. It's a complete side note, but this is Crosby, soldier in Black Ops 2. But like the thing that people don't know about Crosby is it's not like just like a one-off character who's in one mission. He just said that this was a character that was in Black Ops 1 and they just kind of carried it forward. This is a legitimate thing, and you can see affiliations, SEAL Team 6 and JSOC. But yeah, Celerium, Fallen Angel, Odysseus, real thing. That was just something that they wanted to put in. Anyway.
Soon enough, there was like 8 levels with Crosby in it. He had a full character arc.
I mean, Crosby is the Carmine of Black Ops.
Black Ops.
And he has his own wiki page. But
Nice.
when he got to Zombies, it was sometimes our personal touches are accidental. When we were working on Black Ops 2, we were like a new team working on it, and we hadn't quite caught up with all of the rules yet. And so when we were determining the eye color for Mob of the Dead, a producer got to ask like what color to make them, and he's just like, I don't know, red. And then with Q2, like we released the trailer, and the community is like, what is this third faction? What do the red eyes mean? And we're like, oh, okay.
So I have been told before that, as you guys know, like on the Call of Duty channel, I do a lot of like story videos and stuff like that. And I've been told by developers that sometimes the stories or the kind of interpretations that I make off of characters and stuff aren't always right or not always as intended. But sometimes they see that, not just my videos, like community videos, and they're like, yeah, we should make that. We should make so that's canon, and that's actually what's going to happen. And like that's, I think, a really good example of that. And I think that actually might make some Zombies like community members upset because it's like, oh, they didn't intend for this, but later they changed it and they adapted to it and made it the lore.
Like the
Happy
wake up
accident.
call.
I think that's cool. I think that's cool at least.
Yeah, totally. It worked out. But I think in recent years, not I've been directing the gameplay and the design systems, it's really about, I want to bring zombies to more people. And so approachability has been a key
That worries
part
me a
for
little bit.
to put in the game. So
That was kind of, they did that with Black Ops
raising
Cold War.
the floor. A lot of people, it's a very challenging mode. And so when people try for the first time, they might survive for 2 minutes. And it's like, once you get in there and you experience like the higher rounds, it's so much fun. So we want to just make sure that more people can do that.
Yeah, so making it easier, that worries me.
This is the year. This is my time.
This game, we got all sorts of stuff for you that's going to help you with that.
I actually want to go back a little bit and dig in.
And that's like doing like showing you how to complete the Easter eggs that we kind of saw in Cold War.
Thing in the trailers that both of them made a big point to point out this is where this is happening and this is the story that we want to tell around this. And Black Ops, like picking the 1991, just after the Cold War,
Right.
those shots of seeing Bush and Clinton
It's cool.
ripped directly from my memories. I'm dating myself a little bit, but picking a very specific time. What was going through the heads when we picked that moment?
I mean, it has to be the timeline of Black Ops, right? It's a big blank
maybe you can't
space.
speak to that from the zombie side, but if you can, give me that.
I could give a light touch.
Give me a light touch.
That's part of our DNA, right? Like the Black Ops series goes into very historical, memorable beats and kind of gives you this version that could have existed where there's a deeper
Vietnam,
story there. There's a lot of espionage,
Cold War,
and betrayal,
Gulf War,
shadowy ops, and in this version, right, like this idea of you becoming an enemy of the state, like the actual government is betraying you because they're doing some bad things and you want to fix it. So
you're against the government.
Just, just a very nostalgic era, right? I think a lot of us, at least elder millennials.
So I was born in '94.
We're children during this time period. And,
I was children, a child. I wasn't even born in '91, right?
Is going to be, I think, a lot of fun. But on the zombie side, we left you like on a huge cliffhanger. So basically, Cold War was building up a lot of beats. We at the end, like we kind of just did a huge 180. The director ended up being Edward Richtofen, who is a long-stay zombies character. He betrays your entire squad. He sends them off for prison for 5 years.
Which is the Terminus outpost.
We're here now in the early 90s picking up the pieces. So the crew have been in prison for 5 years. They've been just, Sarah Connoring, basically just doing a lot of push-ups and just ready for revenge.
Ready to roll. All right, look, the voices in my head are telling me that we don't have a whole bunch more time. I want to know what you got final thoughts to leave the people with before they get a chance to do their own research and digging. Give me something. Come on. What you got? What we leaving the people with?
That's
the same thing where it's like I've been waiting like literally years to just say round-based zombies is going to be a Black Ops 6.
Yes.
And I think we've set out to make the best version of it.
And we I think we always knew that was going to happen.
Very passionate about the mode, and we're bringing things back from the past, like Gobblegums, among other things. And I think we're going to really make something special here, and we hope everyone enjoys it.
Outstanding. I want to thank.
So yeah, the not a huge takeaways in this one. I think like the biggest things would probably be that they're digging into that counterculture and making it not necessarily just a derivative of the campaign or multiplayer, which I think is great. I think that's what Zombies needs to do. And just touching on that lore a little bit, like the Zombies Color's Eyes or Crosby from Black Ops 2. I love to hear that kind of stuff, and I wish they would do more of that kind of stuff because pulling back that curtain a little bit, I think, is always a good thing for the game. But yeah, it's been a while since we actually got some information on Black Ops 6. I think we're going to have kind of like little breadcrumbs like this leading up to next in August. But let me know what you think down in the comments. And if you enjoyed, hit that like button and get a chair. If you want a chair, check out a chair.